Right now, Madison police identify the man suspected in the State Street shooting as those who worked near the incident try to get back to work. Also, after being found guilty of killing 6 people at a Waukesha Christmas parade, Darrell Brooks appeals his conviction. And later, is Amtrak coming to Madison? A look at some of the possible hub locations and why it may be a bit of a wait. You're watching News 3 Now at 6.
We know that many of you may feel uneasy after last night's events, and we want to reassure our public that we're doing everything possible to keep Madison safe.
That, of course, Madison Police Chief Sean Barnes trying to reassure the public after that shooting on State Street yesterday sent a man to the hospital. Police have now identified a suspect who is still at large, 40-year-old Lamar Jefferson, believed to be armed and dangerous. He has ties to the Milwaukee area. Court records show a lengthy rap sheet for Jefferson. He was actually cited in Dane County for disorderly conduct the day before that shooting. The victim, who police describe as a 29-year-old male, suffered multiple gunshot wounds and is recovering after surgery. Police say a disagreement between Jefferson and the victim led to the shooting. The two knew each other, and the shooting is believed to be targeted. If anyone sees Jefferson, they're asked to call the police immediately. Now, State Street, of course, one of Madison's most iconic streets, and its businesses are left slightly rattled by what happened, but it's back to work as usual. Our Catherine Merck spent the day on State Street hearing from those who work near the site of the shooting. Catherine?
Eric, it's a frightening situation to think about. A shooting in broad daylight in a popular entertainment and shopping district. Today, businesses nearby, including one who helped the victim, are left in shock.
Downtown Madison, for multiple shots fired at 107 State Street, 45 gunshots.
It's not something that we really hear down here on State Street.
As the owner of Clary's old-fashioned gourmet popcorn, Kenneth Clary says the normal State Street sounds include the noises of his gourmet popcorn, not the popping noise of gunshots.
I was kind of shocked, actually. You know, who wouldn't be? Stuff like this kind of pushes people away.
We've never had anything like this happen here.
Across the street, Tuesday's shooting brought a different crowd to Michelangelo's coffee house. After the shooting, the victim walked into the restaurant before he was taken to an area hospital.
It's just such a fluke thing to happen, really, you know. And I came up out the back and saw that there was a guy laying on the floor in the back room, you know.
Today, it's back to business as usual for both storefronts. At Michelangelo's,
it's something, too, to, you know, be able to see how the community downtown responded to it by the authorities that came and everything that they did, the patrons here. I think it really shows how great of a community we have in downtown Madison when something like this happens.
As for Kenneth, he's hoping these unfamiliar sounds of violence stay rare on State Street.
And I grew up here, and as a kid, nobody got shot. You know, once every 2 years or somebody got it, but now it's like once every week. I don't know. But it's changed. Definitely things have changed.
At today's press conference, Madison's police chief said there were 11 incidents with weapons last year on State Street. Yesterday's shooting was the first weapons incident there this year, making 2022 far below past years on record for this area.
Catherine, thank you. And yesterday's shooting is the second in Madison in a week where the suspect remains on the loose. Police expect to arrest Lamar Jefferson soon enough, but today they had no updates on the homicide from Lakeside Street that happened just last week. Investigative reporter Naomi Coles looked into how successful Madison police have been when it comes to solving violent crimes over the years. Naomi?
Eric, Madison police have kept a pretty steady clearance rate for violent crime year over year. That's according to data released in their annual reports. The success rate crept up to nearly 60% in the last few years. A decade or more ago, it hovered closer to 50%, dipping to 38% in 2010, 41% in 2007. Now, that includes homicides. They typically solve those at a much higher clearance rate. Last year, they solved 60% of their 10 murders and solved all 4 of the homicides in 2019. Overall, homicide clearance rates have jumped around between 57 and 100% since 2007. That's except for 2010, when they solved cleared neither of the city's 2 murders. Now, the number of murders a year has stayed between 2 and 11 over the last 15 years. It reached a high point in 2017, and then there were 10 murders each in 2008, 2020, and 2021.
Naomi, thank you. Darrell Brooks, the man sentenced to life in prison for killing 6 people when he drove through a Waukesha holiday parade a year ago, now looking to appeal that conviction. According to court records, Brooks filed his notice to appeal in Waukesha County Court yesterday. Following his conviction, Madison criminal defense attorney Chris Van Wagner said the appeal process for Brooks' case would be lengthy and potentially complicated. A potential appeal could also focus on whether Brooks should have been allowed to represent himself. Let's check your certified most accurate forecast now. Here is Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti. Gary?
Well, the winds are howling, the temperatures are down, but at least it's not snowing out here. Let's start out by taking a look at the time lapse from the WISC-TV Skycam. Had a few flurries this morning, but notice as we got into the afternoon, the sun came out, and it didn't help temperatures very much, but at least it was nice to see the sun. Now, as we take a look at Doppler track, the flurries that we had this morning are now on the other side of Lake Michigan and moving away from us. Current temperatures across Dane County, Madison's down to 21, so's Middleton, still 24 in Edgerton, but down to 20 in Sauk City. Across the rest of southern Wisconsin, already in the teens to our north and west. 17 at the Baraboo Dells Airport, 18 in La Crosse, 17 in Black River Falls. You factor in winds that are still in the 25 to 30 mile per hour range. That drops wind chills into the single digits. Madison, it feels like it's 9 degrees and feels like 1 below 0 in Camp Douglas. Look for skies to be mostly clear this evening. Temperatures holding steady around 20 degrees, but can you factor in those winds? It'll feel about 10 to 15 degrees colder. Later on, I'll take a look at a forecast that does include some warmer weather as we head toward the end of the week.
Gary, thank you. The first Marquette Law School poll after the election came out today, polling how people feel about the Supreme Court. The national survey finds 44% of adults approve of the job the U.S. Supreme Court is doing, while 56% disapprove. In September, 40% approved, 60% disapproved. Approval declined sharply between July and September of 2021 and then fell further in May 2022 following the leaked draft opinion in Dobbs versus Jackson. Women's Health, the decision in June overturning Roe v. Wade, and that had permitted abortion nationwide.
So this set of 15, 16 months, whatever it's been since July of 2021, has been a period of really rapid and substantial change in approval of the court, substantially driven by a variety of abortion-related decisions. But also we've seen periods of some recovery in the court standing as well.
Well, the latest Marquette Law School Supreme Court survey was conducted November 15th through the 22nd. The survey interviewed 1,004 adults nationwide. Wisconsin House Speaker Robin Vos, Assembly Speaker Robin Vos answering questions from the House Select Committee looking into January 6th today. Speaker Vos had sued the panel in September in an attempt to block the subpoena calling for his testimony. Today, he released a statement on the meeting saying in part, quote, "I did not have any involvement with the events of January 6, 2021. My meeting with the Select Committee was brief and I answered their questions regarding Wisconsin's 2020 presidential election." The committee never publicized its subpoena to Vos. Amtrak may be on its way to Madison, and now 6 possible station locations are released today, making that a little closer to reality. A 2021 federal infrastructure bill allocated $22 billion for new Amtrak transit, and Madison wants in. Our Andrew Banstra joins us now with the story. Andrew?
Congress set money aside to connect the country throughout an expanded railway system, and Madison is putting itself in prime position to land an Amtrak hub, but not necessarily anytime soon.
With billions in federal railway money allocated, in April 2021, Amtrak released this aspirational map of what the country's rail system could look like by 2035.
Both the Federal Rail Administration and Amtrak put out plans last year identifying Madison as a really important connection for the passenger rail network in the Midwest.
If Madison is chosen to host an Amtrak,
the trains would be operating daily, 4 times a day.
Amtrak suggested Madison be the caboose of the Hiawatha extension, a line that runs between Milwaukee and Chicago.
So I think initially what Amtrak has talked about is Madison being an end of the line for the Hiawatha extension, but there are discussions about potentially being a middle of a line stop between Chicago and the Twin Cities in the future.
Today, the city of Madison announced 6 possible Amtrak locations. The city is years out from this becoming a reality, but we are steaming our engines.
So we look at this as a demonstration to the federal government that we are interested in passenger rail. In December, the Corridor ID program is going to be released. And we'll be able to pursue federal funding. And having this going at the same time is really a way for us to demonstrate that we are interested in this, and hopefully will give us a leg up on other communities that are applying.
Connecting Madison to the Midwest's major players elevates the city's stature. And hey, it's good for the environment, too.
We know that there are people that make that commute all the time. This would be a greener way of getting there. It would be a way that would be less stressful than driving.
The news may remind many of you on the high-speed railway system between Madison and Milwaukee, for which former Governor Scott Walker turned down funding. As we look forward to a new system, the city will start holding in-person and virtual public meetings next Wednesday.
Andrew, thank you. And coming up at 6, if you live in Monona and haven't set your leaves out for curbside pickup, you might want to hurry. Plus, Dane County Veterans Service is celebrating a new space with an open house, how they're also honoring 2 veterans for their contributions in Dane County. We'll be right back.
The LINX device stops reflux by using magnets to strengthen the muscle at the end of the esophagus, and this prevents acid from flowing from the stomach back into the esophagus.
Stoughton Health, creating excellence together.
Wisconsin, one of those places where families spend their winters among our frozen lakes and snow-covered hills. With all the fun we're having, it's easy to take for granted how we warm up, by the fire or simply adjusting our thermostat. But what if you couldn't warm up so easily? It might be simple to imagine for 60 seconds, but for many, it's a reality they can't ignore. Working families, elderly, disabled, and veterans struggling to keep their heat and power on in the dangerous cold of winter. Freezing temperatures aren't just uncomfortable for them, they can be deadly. Make a real difference by providing a hand up for a neighbor in need. No matter the amount, every dollar helps. If you or someone you know needs a hand up, our energy, water, and emergency rental assistance providers are working together to keep you safe in your home. No one deserves to suffer when we can help each other.
Steinhaffel's Cyber Week sale. Save 35 to 65% store-wide. Plus, get some of our best bonus buys of the year. Like a Beauty Rest Queen mattress, $3.99. This sofa, $5.99. Queen bed now $6.99. 5-piece dining set, $9.99. And for a limited time, make your purchase more affordable with Steinhaffel's 72-month financing. It's Steinhaffel's Cyber Week sale. Shop in-store or online at steinhaffels.com. Relax, it's Steinhaffel's.
Hi, I'm Dr. Aaron Schwab, General Surgeon at Stoughton Health. If you suffer from reflux, please join us for our upcoming seminar on the LINX device, a new and innovative treatment to stop reflux.
Stoughton Health, creating excellence together.
Welcome back. Dane County Executive Joe Parisi and the Dane County Veterans Service are celebrating the opening of a new office. It's located on Aberg Avenue, and that new office is more accessible than the previous location in the City County building. There's free parking and a bus line to the office, and the new location is also near the Vet Center and the Department of Workforce Development.
We like having a nice triangulation of services that will kind of help to foster a more of a one-stop shop type environment for our veterans.
2 conference rooms will be named after individuals with ties to Dane County Veterans Service Office. They are Vietnam veteran Michael Jackson and World War II veteran Marjorie Marshman. Heads up for those living in Monona, you only have a few more weeks to set out leaves for curbside pickup. Public Works crews will collect leaves until December 14th, weather permitting. Officials say the yard waste bins at the Public Works garage will also be removed Friday because the contents inside are freezing and starting to stick. Residents who need to bring leaves and yard waste to those bins should do so before 2 p.m. Friday. Leaves will not be collected again until April. Still ahead, the Alzheimer's Association calls for the FDA to accelerate approval of a new drug to treat the brain disease, plus a hunting story for the ages. What a Wisconsin hunter crossed paths with and how it helped him snag a buck. Plus, could we see temperatures getting back into the 50s this week? Well, Gary will tell us. His complete forecast is next.
Hy-Vee Red Hot deals are super hot this Monday through Thursday. 6 packs of Coke products, only $2.99. Hy-Vee Cottage Bread, only 98 cents. And chicken leg quarters, only 69 cents a pound when you buy a 10-pound bag. Only at Hy-Vee.
It's a great time for your next appliance upgrade. Now at Menards. Transform your home with top appliance brands like KitchenAid, Maytag, Whirlpool, Amana, and Criterion. Menards offers the lowest prices with the largest in-stock appliance selection. Ready to take home today. Breathe easier with DuPont air filters. They can reduce harmful airborne particles by up to 80%. Pick up an air filter for only $2.99 after rebate. Plus, a Menards gift card is always a great gift idea.
Season's greetings to you all from Menards.
Wisconsin is a home of workers. We know what needs to get done, and we do it. Yet, we've been hit hard, some harder than others. Our contact may be limited, but we still can lift each other up. The Keep Wisconsin Warm Cool Fund and your local energy providers are working together to help keep your heat and power on. You may not ask for it, but we want you to know we're here.
Hey, there's my girl. Who's that?
Life can be uncomfortable. Your home doesn't have to be. Whether you're looking for all the advanced features or something with a lower upfront cost, with Rheem heating equipment, you can stay comfortable even in the most uncomfortable situations.
Oh, come on. Yes, let's go.
Feel the Wohlers difference. Call Wohlers Heating and Air Conditioning today, serving Dane County for over 45 years.
The original immersive Van Gogh exhibit is now open at Lighthouse Art Space Madison. Get lost in the sights and sounds of this completely spectacular, vivid, and breathtaking immersive art experience that ABC calls absolutely stunning. The New York Times raves that the original immersive Van Gogh exhibit is a must-see, lavish artistic festival. Tickets available now at vangoghmadison.com.
Hy-Vee Red Hot deals are super hot this Monday through Thursday. Cheerios or Honey Nut Cheerios, only $1.98. Hy-Vee Macaroni and Cheese, 3 for only $1. And a 3-pound bag of Gala or Red Delicious apples, only $2.49. Only at Hy-Vee.
The Alzheimer's Association is calling for the FDA to accelerate approval of a new drug. It's called lecanemab. It's to treat the brain disease, but critics question whether the benefits are worth the risk. Jared Hill reports from New York.
Alzheimer's patient John Teeling is feeling optimistic about an experimental treatment for the mind-destroying disease.
Anything's good, isn't it? Anything that can delay it or give me hope, yeah.
New research from the makers of the drug lecanemab shows it modestly slowed disease progression by about 5 months in early-stage patients.
It boils down really to one thing. That is more time.
In a statement, the Alzheimer's Association says it welcomes and is encouraged by the data.
A person in the earlier stages of disease has more time to enjoy with family, enjoy remembering who they are and who their family is, going on vacations, maybe going to one graduation, having a wedding, experiencing a birth.
Side effects include swelling, which was seen in about 13% of recipients, as well as bleeding in the brain.
There are very few options for people with Alzheimer's, but some health experts are concerned that the modest benefit of this treatment may not outweigh the risk.
So it's a very, very small, almost imperceptible rate of decline change. You really have to look closely and say, is the benefit worth the chance of side effects? And does the benefit actually improve the quality of life?
Last year, the FDA controversially approved another Alzheimer's drug called Aldahelm, despite questions about the risks and benefits. But many doctors and insurers are not prescribing it. The FDA is expected to make a decision on lecanemab in January. Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.
Well, check this out. The Northern Lights returning to the skies of Iceland yesterday with a bright green light show, also known as the Aurora Borealis. They appear most prominently from around November through February. Temperatures staying chilly for a bit, but could we see a warm up, well, maybe a little before the weekend? Here's Gary.
Yeah, and just as quickly, I think that warm-up will go away. 3 things you need to know in the forecast. It'll be breezy and cold tonight. Low temperatures dropping into the teens, but you factor in the winds, and it'll feel like 0 in some areas west of Madison and probably in the single digits here in town. Temperatures will moderate for tomorrow and then be back up close to 50 degrees on Friday. I don't think we're going to make 50 because of cloud cover, but we could be close and even see a rain shower in the afternoon. That will change to a flurry Friday night because it'll turn windy and much colder as a cold front sweeps through Friday evening, and temperatures drop back into the upper 20s on Saturday. Doppler track, the snow flurries that we had earlier today, now on the other side of Lake Michigan and moving away from us. The snow from yesterday, about a 3 to 6 inch swath from southeastern Minnesota through northwestern Wisconsin. Some areas about 6 to 9 inches and around a foot or so in the far western portion of the UP of Michigan. High temperature trend over the next 10 days. After being in the 20s today, we're back up into the mid-30s tomorrow and near 50 on Friday. And just as quickly, we fall down to 28 degrees when the average high temperature temperature should be in the upper 30s right now. As we head into next week, temperatures generally below normal, but not significantly so, or at least we'll be used to it by then, because everyday temperatures will be in the 20s to the lower 30s. And the new Climate Prediction Center temperature outlook for the month of December calling for below normal temperatures for about the northern third of the country with pretty high probabilities through the Dakotas into Minnesota and into Wisconsin. But usually when that happens, usually that means we have snow on the ground. And right now we don't have much snow on the ground across the Midwest. And the precipitation outlook expected to be below normal with the highest probabilities here. So that's kind of interesting. The storm track favoring the West Coast. They could use the rain and snow there. And then over the Ohio Valley, unfortunately, that might be more storms, kind of like we had last night. Future track snowfall. This is from the next weather system that will occur early next week. Right now, the computer model is calling for around an inch of snow. The other computer model is about the same thing. So this is not going to be a big event, and there'll be a similar event probably toward the end of next weekend. So those temperatures are going to stay below normal, but we just don't have a lot of snow on the ground. If we did, temperatures would be a lot colder than what we have in the forecast. But you can see the storms from yesterday that moved through the south have moved off the coast. The next weather system doesn't have a lot of moisture with it, but it is bringing snows into the northern Rockies. For the time being, the main storm track will either be north or south of us. Planning your night, look for a low of 15 in Verona, 14 Brooklyn, 15 in Stoughton with clear to partly cloudy skies. Across the rest of southern Wisconsin, down to 11 in Baraboo and Wautoma, and 10 for the overnight low temperature in Camp Douglas. And you factor in the wind chills, and it'll probably feel more like around 0. 35 for the high tomorrow. Those winds, though, shift to the south to southwest and start picking up in the afternoon, and that will bring temperatures right back up. And strong southerly winds on Friday bring a high of 48. Cloud cover in the afternoon probably will keep us from hitting 50. We'll see a shower chance late Friday afternoon, changing to flurries Friday night. Saturday, windy and colder. Temperatures ramp back up again for Sunday. Start falling next week with some snow chances from late Monday into early Tuesday, and then another system toward the end of next weekend.
All right, Gary, thank you. A Wisconsin police sergeant has quite the buck tale to tell. Appleton native Asher Torbeck was out deer hunting when he spotted an emu walking through the woods. The next day, the emu found him again, but this time so did a 6-point buck. After about a 10-minute stare down between the buck and the bird, Torbeck says the deer turned, giving him an open shot.
I thought, who else in the world can say they shot a buck while an emu was running a distraction for them? So I ended up shooting the buck and looked over at the emu. So I thought, oh, man, that big bang, I hope I didn't scare it. I didn't even think of that. So I look over and the emu was still standing right there. Okay.
The story doesn't end there. The next day, the emu returned. Turns out that bird belonged to a farm nearby. After a few selfies for proof of the story, Torbeck earned the emu's trust to have it follow him 2 miles out of the woods to meet up with its owner's brother. Zach?
Everybody needs a buddy, right? Coming up in sports, it's tournament time for Wisconsin. Why Kelly Sheffield says the best is yet to come from his Badgers. That's next on News 3 Now.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Stanton Optical is the best value in eye care. We did the math, people. For $79, you get all this. That costs over $400 at Lens Crafters, over $200 at Walmart, and over $150 at America's Best. When it comes to value, Stanton Optical is the top bird.
If you already know that a blend of tender, marbled Wagyu beef makes the best burger, good for you. Arby's Wagyu Steakhouse Burger is back. You beef genius? Arby's, we have the meat.
After a lifetime in the jewelry business, Pete Denny is retiring, and Denny's Jewelers retirement sale is in progress. Save up to 60% off store-wide. All must go. All bridal jewelry, all colored stone rings, all silver jewelry, all pearls, all diamond bracelets, and pendants. Absolutely every finished piece is up to 60% off. Pete Denny and family are saying thank you, Middleton, for 40 years of support. Join us for our retirement celebration. Pete Denny is retiring, and Denny's Jewelry retirement sale is in progress. Save up to 60% off. All must go. 1903 Cayuga Street, Middleton.
Everything seems to be getting more and more expensive these days. And it's the same for your heating bills. Since it will cost more to heat your home this winter, USA Insulation wants to give you control over your utility bills. Our premium injection foam keeps the cold outside and your warm, comfortable air inside, right where it belongs. Call now before winter and get a $500 early bird discount.
USA Insulation.
Sometimes a cough isn't just a cough, so it's better to be prepared. Keeping Binax Now handy makes it easy to test. And self-test kits may be reimbursable with no copay through your health plan. With Binax Now, you'll have reliable results in 15 minutes with the self-test that features the same technology doctors use and detects multiple variants, including Omicron BA.5. So you can always be prepared with Binax Now, the #1 COVID-19 self-test in the U.S.
Stanton Optical is the best value in eye care. We did the math, people. For $79, you get all this. That costs over $400 at Lens Crafters, over $200 at Walmart, and over $150 at America's Best. When it comes to value, Stanton Optical is the top bird.
Be prepared for winter weather. Trust the First Warn Weather Team to give you clear, timely, and accurate info, keeping you safe and ahead of the storms. Your certified, most accurate team, First Warn Weather, only on News 3 Now.
Wisconsin plays in the toughest conference in the country and not only survived the gauntlet that is the Big Ten, but they thrived against the competition. The Badgers, remember, haven't lost since September 25th. Since then, 18 straight wins and another Big Ten championship. Now it's on to the NCAA tournament, and you could say Kelly Sheffield likes where his team is at heading into Friday's first-round match.
They've leaned into the challenges, and they've been fast and furious, and they've responded. And I think when you do that, you gain confidence. And so I see a team whose confidence is continuing to rise because they keep answering the bell. And we're playing good volleyball, but we haven't seen our best yet.
And after leading Wisconsin to their 4th straight conference championship, Kelly Sheffield has been named the Big Ten's Coach of the Year for the 3rd time. But the honors didn't stop there for the reigning national champs. Sarah Franklin, Danielle Hart, and Devin Robinson were unanimous selections to the All-Big Ten first team, while Yulia Orzel was named 2nd team All-Big Ten. In his first season at Wisconsin, Braylon Allen led the team in rushing and was named 2nd team All-Big Ten. This season, it was deja vu all over again for the Badger running back. Allen ran for 1,126 yards in 11 games this season, which was good enough for 4th in the Big Ten. And again, he was named to the All-Big Ten 2nd team. Defense has been what Greg Gard and the Badger men's basketball team has hung their hat on. And defense, or lack thereof, was what cost them the game against Wake Forest. Before last night, Wisconsin had not allowed an opponent to reach 70 points. Wake Forest, well, they scored 78 and shot nearly 54% from the floor. That's not a recipe for success, but Greg Gard, well, he's looking at it as a good wake-up call for his team.
It's a good learning experience for us because we've talked about this a lot. We've done a pretty good job of it. We've had flashes of inconsistency, but we've always caught ourselves. Tonight, we didn't catch ourselves.
Hopefully that was just a one-time thing. I know the guys in this locker room, we're going to attack practice this week, and hopefully we get back to the way that we were playing defense before.
Big game Saturday, Marquette.
Big rivalry game. All right, Zach, thank you. Final check, Gary.
Cold out there right now. These are wind chills. It feels like 10 degrees in Janesville, 9 in Madison, and 1 below 0 in Camp Douglas. Actual air temperatures, not much better. Teens and lower 20s.
All right, Gary, thank you. Thanks for joining us for News 3 Now at 6. We'll be back tonight at 10. Have a great evening.